Some holiday petty revenge for you all this Christmas Eve. My 30-year-old female, husband, 35, had 4 sisters, 3 older and 1 younger, though I don't know the exact ages. We don't have children, but we do have nearly 10 nieces and nephews, all ranging in ages from infant to high schooler. Since we don't have kids, we try to spoil our nibblings when we can for birthdays and Christmas while keeping things equal so no one feels left out. For instance, this year, we spent a little over $50 a kid, and they all got 2 presents, except the high schooler who we spilled a little more since she's older. I wrap all my presents in candy cane wrapping paper if I can so that everyone knows who it's from at a glance, but the other things I use for wrapping like bows and labels are arbitrary. The kids are going to rip the presents open and barely look at the bows and labels, so why should I care which I use so long as the wrapping looks presentable? I also tend to buy in bulk when I buy wrapping supplies so that I don't have to buy more bows and paper every single year. Yes, this matters. Last year I was low on bows, so I bought a couple of bags from Costco when I got my paper. The Costco bows were apparently better and prettier than the ones I had already, which were from Dollar Tree. The only reason I know this is because last year I overheard 2 of my sister-in-laws complaining that I used the good bows on the other sister's kids and not theirs. As if my bow and label choices showed favoritism. They even gave me the cold shoulder that night after presents were opened. I was annoyed at this because of how much we spoil our nibblings. I would understand if we spent more on one kid than another, or if one kid got more presents than another, but that's not what happened. We made sure everyone was equal, and even got them gifts too, $50 gift cards, even though they didn't get us anything. I don't expect gifts from them or anything, but it just seemed incredibly ungrateful to me, and a stupid thing to get upset about. Even my husband agreed that they were being ridiculous. So this year, I'm being petty. I wrapped all the presents, went out of my way to use the same size labels for all the kids, and no one got bows. My husband thinks this is hilarious. I warned my mother-in-law of my pettiness, and she promised to let me know if she heard anyone complain. She also thinks this is hilarious. I'm excited to see how things unfold, or shall I say unwrap, tomorrow evening. Happy holidays, everyone. May all your days be chill and your revenge be petty. This is about entitled family members. A little backstory. My dad, 52-year-old male, started drinking heavily and using coke when I was 5. He ruined our lives by destroying his business, drowning my mom in debt, hitting her and me, crapping, yes, literally, on our stuff when we tried to leave, and then destroying the house my grandpa gave us to live. My grandma sided with him, putting his happiness over mine all the time by forcing me to have a relationship with him by guilting me for not giving him a chance. I guess my eldest aunt hated us for his own mistakes and even told my cousin that my dad was just fine in rehab, but when he came home, he relapsed. Therefore, it was our presence causing this and even excluded me from family gatherings multiple times, especially when my cousin Talita came back from Australia after 10 years, and she didn't invite us to the barbecue. Didn't invite me to a trip to her ranch where all my cousins were there and having fun and openly posted about it. She also has become pastor at the church in her little conservative town and acts holier than thou by looking down upon us and other people for their race, sexuality, and choices. The family got divided when they called me one day for a lunch after 6 months and told me right then and there that my grandpa's inheritance was gone and that I had no reason hounding them after my mom, a few months prior, got into a fight with my grandmother after she stopped paying my child support. She paid in my dad's name since he has since become, I guess, brain dead with all the drugs he used. I am 19, but in my country, the parent pays until the kid finishes college by law. And yes, I got a job now, but back then I was unemployed since the situation is difficult in my country, and there aren't my jobs for younger people without 5 years of experience, plus the skills, and my mom had to literally overwork herself to the point her back is now screwed up. And she stopped paying without warning, thus leaving us in a quite difficult position so she can put some money in my dad's retirement plan. He doesn't even work, thus choosing his grown ass instead of my well-being. Cue to today. my Aunt Sam, my fairy godmother, and my mom got together to get me and my cousins after a year of hardship for both close families. Apparently, my aunt has told my mom that my grandmother is showing signs of dementia and won't be able to cover my dad and his shenanigans or care for him by babying him till their death. And my pastor aunt has yet, again, managed to knock down a few of her relationships with the family by berating one of my cousins, 29-year-old male, by embarrassing him in front of friends after she saw him drinking with his friends, A few people in the family got angry with her holier-than-thou attitude and decided to drop her. It's only a matter of time until she vanishes into her stupid ranch and dies alone without family besides her poor excuse of a husband and her pit bulls because of her actions and thoughts. Karma is truly beautiful. Last year, my girlfriend and I decided to attend a family Christmas festivity, despite more or less not feeling like it and somewhat knowing better. Family on my side, it was my now late mother who insisted we should go because the family had organized a big party, would also provide dinner, and she figured this would be a fun distraction for us. Also because we never really went out for dinner that entire year, despite somewhat wanting to. Now, the event itself was more fun than I would have given it credit for. We had fun interactions with some cousins and some of their spouses, and overall, we had a good time. The incident? The problem started during dinner. During said dinner, it got announced that there would be a huge fireworks display at the end of the party, all set up by 3 of my cousins who I sometimes refer to as the Gnawlers. Boomers, I think, because they are kind of obsessed with fireworks. And I'm not a fan, never have been. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being passionate about something and sometimes taking things a little bit too far. As long as you keep things reasonable, at the very least, mind others, which is something I don't think they do. See, my cousin's hobby even made the local news a few times. 100 kilograms of illegal fireworks got confiscated from a house. Firework packs were even found under the bed. Yeah, obviously the authorities had no clue what they were talking about, and obviously things were fully under control. The regulations were at fault, most surely not them. Several years ago, I once raised the question, yeah, but what if a fire would break out? To which I was told, that never happens, yeah. No point in arguing that level of ignorance. Minecraft? What are you little kids? So after the announcement, the conversations during dinner went a bit towards the fireworks. Combos went back and forth, and suddenly one of the spouses asked my girlfriend if we ever did something with fireworks, to which my girlfriend said no. But we do have a bit of an in-game fireworks tradition. When asked what she meant, my girlfriend explained that during New Year's Eve, we used to hack our Minecraft game so that the in-game clock would sync with the real world, local. Time during which we'd set up some in-game fireworks and effects, which would then launch during 12 and sharp. For the record, my girlfriend and I are in our 50s. The woman who asked her was intrigued and thought it was a fun thing to do, but it got quickly met with snide, condescending comments from her husband. Minecraft? What the hell? That's a kid's game. How old are you two? Who are you to compare our work to that crap? To which his wife immediately retorted, Josh, that's not what she said, but this started the beginning of the end. When another, also obviously drunk, cousin told us that, you guys are pathetic. That has nothing to do with fireworks. How old are you? Kind of lost my cool. Also, well under the influence, I felt no hesitation in snapping back. Well beyond the age where children mock others for their hobbies, seems an achievement not everyone here managed to accomplish. That sure riled them up. It got even funny when Josh, told us that hobbies or not, it was still stupid to be playing kids' games considering our age, to which I told him that in this kid's game, some people even managed to build fully working 8-bit computers, to which my girlfriend told me to hush and keep my cool. She realized that I was also quite tipsy, and things did cool down a little bit after that. Until another relative, nice guy in his 16s or such, I think, suddenly yelled out, "Oh my God, Uncle Shell wasn't kidding. Would you look at this?" The guy had grabbed his phone and looked it up and came up with several YouTube videos. The funny thing here is that this guy was a student, and his parents were really proud of him. And then he's the one to yell out in sheer admiration? Yeah. For the record, the fireworks afterwards were fun to look at, no question about it. But the following loads of snide remarks afterwards made us decide to leave the party early and well. Screw that. You have to step up. Your cousins need you. So 2 weeks ago, I got an email from an aunt of mine, which was odd because I never had much contact with that side of the family. Not before the Christmas festivities last year, and most definitely not afterwards. As it turned out, my 2 cousins got into an accident quite severe. They were hospitalized, and you need to call me to talk about visiting hours so that we can set up the schedule. I ignored said email because I had zero interest in visiting them, also because it's an easy 2-hour drive, but did send out an email of my own to wish them well. Then, last weekend, 1 week ago, I got a phone call. Hey, Shell. Why haven't you called me? Anyway, we set up the schedule without you. You need to visit the hospital Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday evening. We expect you at 19. 0 sharp. Don't complain about the time. That's your fault for not calling me. I listened, and I couldn't help but plain out laugh it out. Yeah, good luck with that. You can count me out, though. Which was met with several rude remarks. How dare I turn my back on my cousins who obviously needed my support? Do they? Or is it you who is now trying to force a break for yourself? I asked. That hit a nerve. As it turned out, my cousins were messing around with obviously not illegal fireworks, yet long before it's even legal to use that stuff, it literally blew up on them. Not going into too much detail for obvious reasons, but one is now missing a hand and the other an eye. Those got lost in the process. And we're not talking about kids here, but grown-up guys, I think, who are well in their 30s. It's all your fault, 2 days ago, I got a new email. Now telling me that the new schedule has been prepped, and I'm expected to go visit my cousin's upcoming Tuesday, second Christmas Day, Wednesday and Friday on 13, 0 and 19, 0 to make up for last week. Followed by, it's all your fault this happened, because people like you never believed in their amazing capabilities and always need to talk down on them. To which I sent back an email with a picture of the universal salute and blocked the involved email addresses entirely. Figured I'd vent a little about it here. For reasons unimportant to the story, I was reminded today of something that happened decades ago. I worked many years for Toys R Us, RIP throughout high school and college. One late December evening, a customer wanted to check out with the hot new video game console, a not small transaction. For payment, he presented a credit card. Our corporate policy was to ask for ID with any card payment. He approached my checkout with what was unquestionably one of our largest sales of the day. I rang him up and requested his payment and, as required by policy, and the written statement on his card, identification. He immediately became belligerent and informed me that I was contractually obligated to part with valuable wares without any assurance that he was who he said he was or that I would actually receive remuneration for them. Fun fact, I looked it up later. That's true. As a condition of accepting card payments, merchants must agree to contractual language promulgated by card issuers, and in most cases, that precludes sellers from requiring identification. However, neither this man nor me are parties to that contract. Nor does this man have any reason to believe that his retail checkout clerk in South Carolina has any knowledge of or is paid enough to care about. Some contract someone in an office park in Paramus, New Jersey may or may not have agreed to with Visa or MasterCard. Naturally, upon being informed that I refused his purchase, he threatened to sue me personally and demanded to speak to my manager. I, in fact, was the highest-ranking employee in the store that day. With a pittance more hour above minimum wage, several years more experience than any other hourly employee, and anyone with more clout than me off for the holiday, I was the manager on duty and had stepped onto a register myself to expedite operation. I cheerfully told him I would be happy to get the manager for him. I literally spun on my heel and then asked him how I could help him. I made him re-explain to the manager why he was upset with my associate. He ultimately then presented his ID, but the manager agreed that photo ID was entirely irrelevant. As the customer had said, if the card was signed, I must accept it based upon his signature. Unfortunately, however, the signature on the card and the signature on the receipt did not match. The card was prominently signed Duce Misentitled Face, ask for ID. The payment slip was signed Duce Misentitled Face. Close, but clearly not a match. My employer was therefore contractually required to refuse the transaction and to report the fraudulent attempt, resulting in a card freeze. Can I trust you to find the exit, or will you require the assistance of the local constabulary? He was served a formal trespass notice, and, in an abundance of caution, I also called every store within 3 counties to ensure no one was duped by that clever near match.